Hey guys, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about Hyrox compared to OCR, the training effects, the competing styles, the benefits to your fitness, and if I'd recommend the crossover. Let's get into it. Firstly guys, if you're new here, hit the like and subscribe button, it really does help me out. If you are looking for any specific training plans, check out my website, jfitpt.com. So, I recently ran a Spartan Beast. It was my first Beast distance event, and I loved it. It was a very last minute decision, but I jumped in and I was up for giving it a try. I've done a couple of OCRs in the past, including winning my age group in the super distance, the 10k distance, and qualifying for the World Championships over in Dubai. However, as you know, Hyrox is my main sport. Now in this video, I talk about Spartan racing, but to be clear, there are many other OCRs out there. Unfortunately, we lost a few of them during the pandemic, but there's still a good amount to choose from, range from all different distances to running and complexities of the obstacles. So, do the two sports relate? Hyrox is 8k of running, and for most it takes about 90 minutes to complete. A super distance is 10k worth of running with 25 obstacles, and depending on how hilly the course is, takes roughly the same time frame. Now the running is very different. OCR is difficult and technical terrain. I found the Beast descent treacherous. Now I consider myself a strong descender, coming from many years of cross country. However, it is a skill, and if you don't use it, you lose it, and it's not something I've been practicing. If you are remotely tempted to sign up for an OCR, get out on those trails, get practicing. It's a completely different style. Comparing that to Hyrox, which is indoors and flat, it's very different. It uses the muscles in a different way. Hyrox lends itself to an open gait, smooth cadence, extension of the hips. It allows you to run quick with a high turnover. Whereas OCR will be a little bit choppier, with a higher cadence as the terrain is undulating. This kind of running does develop strength, it builds power in the legs, and the effects in the cardiovascular system will transfer over to your fast running. Now, the obstacles. This is where I lose a little bit of time. I don't do and haven't done a lot of these events, so obstacles are something you really need to practice. It's sport specific. So the guys at the front, they're going to places where they can practice these movements, which, if it's your sport, you've got to do. However, Spartan obstacles aren't overly complicated. There's a sled drag, an Atlas stone, a Herculean hoist, and a sled pull. All of these are strength components, which is very similar to Hyrox. There are other obstacles, including crawling under barbed wire, jumping over barriers, but they're not complicated, they're just kind of in the way. If I was Hyrox and tempted to go and do an OCR, I wouldn't let the obstacles put me off. They're very accessible, and there are other events which I'm sure have much more complicated obstacles, but for Spartan there was a lot of emphasis placed on the running. Now we can see some similarities. There's a lot of running and there's a strength component to these events. Where I think these events work well is the fact that they are in different seasons. Hyrox is a winter sport, you don't have to worry about the elements, it's indoors, whereas OCR, it's in the summer. If you're tempted to do a Hyrox or an OCR, I'd definitely recommend it. If you can do one, you can do the other. Be mindful of the distance you choose though. A Beast is a big jump, as I found out last week. The only caveat I'd have to that is where your focus lies come training. So if you're focusing on Hyrox, using OCR as a training session is brilliant. It's a great way to get outside, meet some new people. We all push a little bit harder during a race. It's a lot of fun. It's a great community. So there's a lot of good stuff going on there. Keeps it fun, it gives us something to target during a long break, and it helps us get some really good, tough miles in. But just remember, it's got to be built into a training structured plan. I wouldn't let it distract me from my main focus. And that's the same the other way around. If you're doing Spartan and Hyrox comes up, it's a great way to mix it up, but you're going to spend your time doing your sport. The OCR guys are looking at grip strength, obstacle proficiency, and run distance specificity. Whereas people training for Hyrox need to be looking at Hyrox specific movements and training effects, making sure we're practicing that sled into a run. Don't lose sight of your main goal is the point. As my Hyrox season comes closer, I'll be less likely to jump into an OCR. However, there's still plenty of time this year to get both in and enjoy it. If you are looking to get involved in a Hyrox, use my code JFIT10 and you get a little bit of discount at checkout. As always, thank you for joining me. Take a structured training approach, enjoy a different environment, enjoy a different training stimulus, but measure your progress towards your main goal. If you are looking for anything more specific and to crush some goals this year, check out my website, JFitPT, and we'll get you there. Guys, I really appreciate your time. If you've enjoyed it, smash that like button. See you next time.